Off the Wall Productions is proud to present Voices of the Methow. This is a series of conversations with interesting folk in and around the valley. Arnold Cleveland is a full-blood Wenatchee band member. Arnold is an engaging, warm-hearted man who is sharing stories of his life in the hope they will benefit those listening to them in some way. Arnold is also a gifted musician who starts his talks by playing his flute as a means of connecting and giving thanks to the Creator. His wife, Gail Price, supports, organizes, and promotes Arnold's work. Arnold and Gail are available for public speaking engagements and can be reached at gailprice11@yahoo.com. That's gailprice11@yahoo.com. On November 17, 2018, Arnold Cleveland and his wife, Gail Price, came to visit my wife, Raven, and I. We talked for 4 hours about a wide variety of subjects. What follows are parts of that conversation.
My dad, again, I go back to him, even around here, like I say, around here where we've been here, he's always been, people call him a big Chinaman. So as an Indian, he could go into bars, he could buy booze, buy liquor. Oh. And he did that a lot.
He had just enough look to him.
I don't know what it was. Never thought about it till later. But
interesting.
He'd buy, and his old partners loved whiskey. Well, they'd buy those half pints or pints of whiskey, and he'd go visit. I remember Manson. We'd drive out to the old man up there. He had that old cabin up there on top of the hill, in Manson there. And they're relatives of ours, but he'd go there, and we'd go in at nighttime, and he'd give the guy a bottle, you know. And he did that all over Lake County where we lived. Them old Indians, they were totally isolated from the white people. I mean, they go into town to a store. The clerk would meet them at the door. They would take maybe 4 people at a time.
Oh wow!
And they'd walk with them down, and they'd pick their stuff up, come back, check out. Then they'd take the next 3 or 4 in. That was right in Lakeport. My dad would go down there. He could walk in that same store, grab a 6-pack or 12-pack or whatever.
Oh, interesting.
Or whiskey, and he did the same thing. He'd buy several bottles, and we never, because he'd end up some evenings, let's go see so-and-so, and drive out to their little cabin, and they can give them a bottle.
So you had a really different experience,
yeah.
Arnold. Your experience was very different from your peers growing up.
Yeah. And
because your father could just cross into the white world. Yeah. He was just able to do that.
Yeah. And at my grandma's there was tons of people would come to grandma. There used to be an Indian encampment there. And then over the years, all the people passing through, the old folks, we call them old folks, or relatives, they'd always come to grandma's and stop. First thing she did was feed them, sit down, cup of coffee. They'd have a cup of coffee. Next thing you know, you got bread going, you got biscuits and gravy, potato. Next thing you got a whole meal there. Eat before you go down the road,
Don't know when you'll eat again.
And that's just the way it was. We weren't exposed to the hatred and vision that people got on the reservation. They're just a bunch of drunks,
Everything changed now. Everything changed.
That was Ida Nason, Arnold's grandmother, speaking at the end there, saying, "Everything's changed. Everything's changed." There's a great documentary about her on YouTube at Ida Nason. That's IDANASON. Everything Change, Everything Change. Recollections of Ida Nason, an American Indian elder. Let's continue with the story Arnold has that I'm calling The Indian and the Cowboy.
When I played with John was actually a cowboy. So we called ourselves the Indian and the Cowboy.
That's great.
But he used to go out and did that roping.
Sure.
But John, he kept after me.
Oh.
And he was saying, because when I first got back up in Lake County in '63 out of the service there, every Friday night, Saturday night, they had races, hot rod races in town. They had boat races over because it was Lake Lake County there, big lake. Every weekend they had boat races going on. Well, then Friday and Saturday night there was a club across the lake there called the Harbor. That's where it was at. Everybody went to the Harbor. Well, there was two guys that played there, and Al and Al. Al played the guitar. He did the same thing, just strumming and singing. And the other Al, he played the drums, and once in a while he'd have the bass there, and he'd plunk a few on the bass. And they just, carried the whole crowd, and everything. So John kept after me. He says, "Yeah, I remember Al and Al over there, just the two of them. So we can do it. We don't need, all that other stuff." And it took a while, but had to change my approaches and stuff a little bit, and finally just reworked at it. Finally, once I decided, "Oh, okay, John." But he kept after me, he kept, "Come on, Arnold, we can do it, Try something, let's try this, let's try that." So we did, and finally it's like, we clicked off, and just two of us.
How long did you guys play together?
16 years.
Yeah, see? Wow.
16. But he was cool too, because he didn't smoke at all, and he didn't drink beer. Very, very seldom he might drink a little bit of a beer, but and when he was young, he had polio. I think it was polio. So his one foot was kind of in his left hand. So in high school, when he's going through therapy, his doctor told him, "John, you need to do something to keep that arm going. Otherwise, it'll atrophy up to just the stub." So when I first met John, he'd sit there and but he stayed at it and
Yeah, but tell him how he talked. Like Mel Tillis.
Worse. Just bad.
Bad stutter.
That's how he talked. So he'd get in the crowd. He wouldn't talk with us. He wouldn't,
And he didn't sing?
Yeah.
Could he sing?
We got him singing finally.
Okay, yeah. I wonder sometimes, you can sing, but you can't talk necessarily, but you can kind of sing.
Well, that's what, then after we got going, like I say, it was all me, vocals and everything. And then he got really good around the drums and stuff. And like I say, we did some pretty good jobs together. Towards the end there, my voice was, by 11 o'clock, I couldn't talk.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd just sit there and take a break, go outside and breathe in fresh air and try to get through the night. Finally, I told John, either you got to start singing, John, or we got to hang it up. I can't keep it up. So he couldn't. So I was telling him the same thing. Well, watch Mel Tillis,
Yeah.
Finally, I don't remember what brought about. Finally, he started singing Rhinestone Cowboy. So we got going, and we worked it out finally. And he had good, I guess, natural timing or something, but he had good timing. But we fit together pretty well. And he could always, I don't know what stuff I'd do in between songs or something, but just what I was playing around with, he knew what song we were going to sing next.
Oh.
And he could retain pretty much the rhythm to him.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Wow.
but yeah, he finally started. I had him up to singing 12 songs. I told him even if he sang 3 songs a set, that would sure help me.
Yeah, sure.
So we got him up to singing pretty good on 12 songs.
You have amazing stories, Arnold.
Well, Arnold has one more story here for now, and that's about running.
Well, I always loved running. Even up the Mission. I used to get these kids and we'd split the group up and take half, and I'd say, "Okay, you guys in one group, you guys take off, we're going to give you an hour, then we're going to track you down."
Oh, fine.
If we catch up with you and stuff, then you owe us candy bars and all this stuff, or,
Typical kid stuff.
Yeah, so they'd take off, then we'd go chase them, and vice versa, and then through high school and then Marine Corps, you spend half your life in Marines running. But after I got out, went to work, I didn't do much till I was 40 years old in 1980. November of 1980. We just finished working in the pairs in Lake County, and the accountant that the shed had working for him, he worked, he had a bed in his office, and he'd stay at the shed during peak season. He'd slept there and had food delivered and he'd be up there, middle of the night doing the book stuff. And we started slowing down. Him and I became pretty good friends over the years. Anyway, we got done with that season, and we were kind of closing down. And that one evening, we were sitting out there having a beer, and he says, "Arnold, says, you ever think about running?" I laughed at him. I said, "Bob, what do you mean running?" He says, "Oh, running." He says, I was a kid growing up. He grew up in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what his folks did. They were something big down there. But he said he'd had some kind of little heart problem when he was in school. And his folks wouldn't let him do any physical activity.
Oh, yeah.
So he took up accounting,
Oh, my gosh.
He did all office work, book work over the years. Well, for some reason, he started, I guess, reading books about running and marathoning and all that. And he says, I always wanted to just to run. And he said, but I don't know, I don't have any idea what to do. And I says, well, let's just get out and start running, But he was he meticulous about records and then he started reading. So I told him, sure, Bob, let's get a program going. And so we did. We went through the whole steps, went down, had the physicals, and especially him had his heart because we told him.
Yeah.
And he got this program set out, and it's like, okay, every day we'll go down, we'll walk, a mile and walk back and time it, and then we got these watches and everything was, okay, let's go, Bob. And okay, now you can run for 3 minutes, and then you got to walk for 2 and run 3. Don't run fast, just jog. Worked our way up all winter long. We were out every day, rain. We even hit some snow there a little bit up on the top. Anyway.
Yeah, you would.
We stuck with it all through the winter because that was his slow time. And anyway, then the next spring we started doing worked his way up. I was already used to walk. I walked. Those gals tracked me one morning there. Those sorters. We put one of those pedometers on me. And from the time we started at 7 till we took a break at 10, I'd already walked 6 miles around those packing houses.
Yeah.
I just, you walk around, you're watching everything and pieces of machinery and stuff. Anyway, so that wasn't too bad on me, but you got him going. And then the next spring we started, I don't remember, we were doing those little 5Ks, little 3 mile things, and running, good time. He just kept track of everything.
Some people are like that. Yeah.
But then we got worked our way up. We were doing
Marathons.
We were doing 6 marathons a year.
Oh my
That's
God.
all we could
And
fit
this
in.
was a guy who'd never run or done very physical. Arnold, what a gift you gave him by being his partner in that.
In fact, last time I saw him, he was we saw him down there at Lake County that time. So he was almost, I think, 78. He was 7 years older than me. But I think he was 78, and I saw him one day. He said, Bob, what are you doing? And he'd come out to do another 5K,
Oh, that's a great story.
But we did
I
those
love that.
marathons, and gosh, I don't know how many 10Ks every weekend, it was a 10K run somewhere.
And then he went to triathlon.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Got in triathlons.
Well, that's it for now. Once again, Arnold and Gail can be contacted at gailprice11@yahoo.com for any speaking engagements or questions, whatever you got. They'll be glad to help you. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll be doing this again in the near future.
We all have some way of praying to whoever, however, and my way of doing it is with the flute. So on this occasion, I would offer up to my Creator my thank yous and looking to the future for better things to come. Thank you.
You've been listening to Voices of the Methow, an off-the-wall production. Until next time, thanks for listening.